Leavanny is a Pokemon I never thought I would feature on the channel, but I saw this unique Leavanny team with an interesting concept utilizing Sticky Web and String Shot built by Kotaro, and I thought this is a really unique team and let's see how well it can perform. This is a Leavanny Sun team. We have two different Sunsetters with the Charcoal Torkoal with Eruption Heat Wave, Helping Hand to help out its ally do more damage, and Yawn to be a disruptor. This is mainly a Pokemon that can help set up the Sun while also being a very big threat to Trick Room teams, because while this team is Tailwind offense, it does utilize and caterize towards a more fast mode. The Torkoal usually scares away opponents from potentially setting up a Trick Room because it can be a mass threat that can just sweep under that Trick Room if they aren't careful. Otherwise, we have this really unique Koraidon set, not running the Clear Amulet like we commonly see to stop Intimidates, but running an Assault Vest instead, and this helps it allow it to take attacks from those special type restricteds, especially like Kyogre, Calyx Shadow Rider, and especially Terapagos, so it can actually be able to switch into Starstorm. Because this team is pretty frail, you want to have at least one decent switch in, and this Koraidon is job to set up the Sun, do massive damage, and be a pretty big threat. Especially with that U-turn that can get in Flutter Mane and Walking Wake decently safe, because this Koraidon is actually slower than most builds that we would normally see. And for the rest of the team, we have a Choice Specs Flutter Mane that can take advantage of the Sun, having that Photosynthesis booster of Special Attack to dish out as much damage as it possibly can. And to support it, we have that Tailwind on the Tornadus, this one running Mental Herb to help out against opposing Taunt, and use Taunt to shut down opposing Trick Room and other Wide Guards in different setups, Tailwind to support the team. And we have the Covert Cloak Walking Wake with a Speed Photosynthesis, so it can go for a fast Snarl to outspeed things like Calyx Shadow Rider and Lunala. Go for that Snarl, lower that special attack, but otherwise still dish out some pretty strong damage with that Hydro Steam and Draco Meteor. This Leavanny is a really interesting tech on this Sun team, because since this team focuses on setting up Tailwind with Tornadus against the Mirror, and if they do have their own Tailwind stuff, usually the team is not fast enough, as the fastest Pokemon on this team would be your own Flutter Mane, which is only a 180 speed stat, so 360 in total. Would not be the fastest thing, especially when there are Tailwind teams that run like Calyx Shadow Rider, for instance, and other fast threats like Miraidon. This is where Leavanny comes into play, because with Chlorophyll, it does have that double speed factor in the Sun and can help set up with either String Shot to help lower the speed of your opponent's side, both Pokemon, or the Sticky Web, which once it's set up, usually, unless they have some way to remove hazards, which is very unlikely, you're able to play throughout the entire game, where if they switch out, then they will have that -1 speed for the remainder of the game. It could be a huge advantage with Flutter Mane, Koraidon, Walking Wake to outspeed and threaten knockouts. If you would like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be in the description down below. Shiyu, Terapagos, Grimmsnarl, Shifu, the Flutter Mane, and the Iron Hands. Alright, this matchup, it's gonna be pretty interesting. We do have a pretty good matchup with our Assault Vest Terapagos, which is actually really good in this matchup. The Flutter Mane might be a little bit of a concern since they generally run bulky, yet the Leavanny could actually kind of help out with that. I would like to see what my opponent throws off. I wouldn't be surprised to see Grimmsnarl lead. I kind of like the Leavanny lead quite a bit here. Leavanny seems pretty good. I don't really like Torn too much. I do expect... I would say Iron Hands is coming. I think what my opponent would probably value is Terapagos, probably the Grimmsnarl, Flutter Mane, and Iron Hands looks like the most solid. I don't think Water Shifu is that great, and she is kind of volatile in this Sun matchup, I would say. That's at least what I would plan for. Do I want to lead the Sun mode, I guess is the question. I think I'd probably do, although Grimmsnarl lead is a little bit susceptible. I think I will still try it out anyway. And then in the back, let's try Flutter Mane and the Walking Wake. Sticky Web would be really nice as a starter, because it would really help out. Even if we get paralyzed a bunch, it should still allow me to outspeed most of my opponent's team. Flutter Mane's probably like the one exception here. I am expecting the Grimmsnarl quite a bit here. Let's find out what they decide to lead. I could have led Flutter Mane plus Koraidon, but it is a little susceptible to their own Flutter Mane. We're going to see Iron Hands Grimmsnarl, which is a pretty passive lead, but I don't exactly hate this one. We get to bring out our Leavanny plus our Koraidon. Flutter Mane would have been, of course, a really good lead here, but not too bad, I would say. I do got to be careful because this is my win con against the Terapagos. I don't know they would fake out the Leavanny. Realistically, I think my best play is actually just to fire off a lunge into the... I could set a sticky web right away, but there's not really a need to. So I think I'm just going to go for the lunge, and I really don't want a Thunder Wave happening into this slot. They could wall charge, but I kind of doubt it turn one. I think I'm going to go out in a Flutter Mane immediately. I also get to scout for it there in case Spirit Break on the Grimmsnarl. So this might not be ideal because we get Thunder Wave turn one potentially, but I still think that this is probably a better trade-off overall. Get the special attack boost. Fake Out going to come out into what was the Koraidon slot. Yeah, they don't respect the Leavanny. We are going to see the Thunder Wave, which is not too surprising. Can't really avoid that. It was either have Koraidon or Flutter Mane paired. I think here I would 100% would prefer Flutter Mane getting paralyzed here. Go for the lunge into the Grimmsnarl. Not a bad amount of damage, actually. Now, how much speed do I think the Iron Hands has? I don't think it's outspeeding this Flutter Mane, even with the Thunder Wave. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to set up my Sticky Web here. Or do I want to lunge? The thing is, if this is the Aurelion team that got second place at NAIC, then it has Heavy Slam. So I don't think a lunge is going to help me survive the attack. So I think they're probably just going to set up a light screen here. I'm going to set up my Sticky Web, I think, and go for the Dazzling Gleam. Yeah. Make this Reflect, not Light Screen, huh? I guess they really want to set up for the Terapagos, hopefully surviving here in the back. Sticky Web going to go up. So now we are going to have speed control, especially if we get the KO on Grimmsnarl here. We are able to get the Dazzling Gleam off before the Iron Hands. You need a lot of speed in order to outspeed Flutter Mane. And look at that beautiful damage. Like, we almost knocked out Iron Hands. If I tear it, I actually would have. But here comes Heavy Slam into the Flutter Mane. I was not going to pull a card where I had to reveal my go for my Terra in case I get fully paralyzed, because I had to think about the worst case option. But now we're in a really nice spot. And I don't know if their Flutter Mane comes in, I guess is the question. I would probably like to go out into my Walking Wake here and scout for like what they are going to go for. Terapagos going to come in, which is a-okay by me. I do not mind Terapagos coming in. I think Walking Wake should be in range of a attack from my Walking Wake. I'm pretty sure Hydro Steam would pick up the knockout. Sylvester Iron Hands. It's, I don't know. Walking Wake is strong, and I mean strong. We have Speed Booster, which isn't ideal for this. I was thinking of using Lunge to break the shield on Terapagos, but I guess I could Snarl the following turn. That's not too bad, actually. I'm gonna Lunge the Iron Hands, and I'm just gonna Hydro Steam the hands, I think. Because I know one Starstorm is not going to pick up a knockout here. We're going to see the Iron Hands retreat, so this could be Flutter Mane, I suppose. Is that Chi-Yu? Ah, they brought Chi-Yu to Flutter Mane. I'm surprised in a matchup like this, but I'll gladly take that. So I get the knockout on Chi-Yu. And no Flutter means I'm not forced to Terra anything. So I am able to get a lunge off into the slot of the Chi-Yu, and Hydro Steam will pick up the knockout. So yeah, no Flutter Mane just made this so much easier. Okay, goodbye Chi-Yu. We're gonna see Terapagos go for Terra Starstorm into the Wake. I don't think this picks up the knockout. Okay, maybe I underestimated Terapagos a little bit. Maybe just a little bit. Huh. I really hope I don't lose off that. I do have an Assault Vest on the Leavanny, or on the Koraidon, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. Alright, so we also got to think about the sun turns too, because we actually only have one turn of sunlight after this. Maybe this isn't the best decision. I will go for a lunge into the Terapagos, and I am going to go for my collision course into Terapagos as well. This should just always be Fake Out into Koraidon and a Starstorm. They could also just not Terra here, which I wouldn't be too surprised about. Yeah, that is definitely not what I was expecting. I thought Wake would be bulky enough, but I guess Choice Specs regular. I guess this is still a single target base power 120 move. So I guess I should have thought about that a bit more. Fake out. They fake out the Leavanny, actually. Are they going to focus down the Leavanny? Which is fine for me. Collision course. So we will break the Terra Shell. Get some good damage too. Starstorm into Koraidon. Okay, perfect. That does so much damage. Now the question is, do you survive? Because I think you have to Terra to survive, but if you Terra, you don't get the KO onto the Koraidon. This is my last turn of Sun, so I do have to make sure that this turn counts. I think I either have to bank on the double up K into Terrapagos, or I think I do. Terra doesn't help me with this. Terra doesn't help me here either. I think I just gotta go for the double up here in the Terrapagos and just hope it does get the KO. Unfortunately. We are going to see a Terra. This is going to be Terrapagos. This is Reflect. We have the Collision Course. We have the Attack Boost. It is more damage to a super effective target, but it is a Terrapagos on the Reflect, yet they have taken chip damage, which is kind of nice. All right, let's see how much we do. Oh, they also get rid of Weather, actually. So it's actually better for me to target Iron Hands no matter what. Oh, boy, because I might not get the KO on Terrapagos. I do not think I'm getting the KO on Terrapagos, unfortunately. I guess even through Reflect, I guess like it had to be max special attack Terrapagos, and you imagine you run speed with Thunder Wave for like outspeeding things under Tailwind and stuff after like a Thunder Wave. That's actually really huge. Okay, beautiful. All right, I think I was not expecting to actually get the KO there because I was like, I don't know this KOs, but this Koraidon, man. This Koraidon. All right, let's lunge the Iron Hands. Let's go for a Terra. Let's go for a Flare Blitz because that is maximum damage output into the Iron Hands. Unless Iron Hands somehow survives this Flare Blitz with Terra Fire. There is no Sun anymore, so we don't have the attack boost, but I think we should get the KO here. I do think we should. Terra Fire. Not in Sun, but still a good amount of damage. Lunge into the Iron Hands. So just in case the Iron Hands won't be able to hopefully pick up the knockout on Leavanny with Heavy Slime if they did go for it here. Flare Blitz. Yeah, picks up the knockout. And even then, I guess because if we didn't get the KO, like we even survived the recoil actually without. So we would have survived the recoil. We got multiple chances to attack. I guess we'd have to worry about crit, but I was actually surprised that we killed the Terrapagos in that position, but we'll definitely take it. Incineroar, Rillaboom, Amoonguss, Fluttermane, Terrapagos, or Sheaf. It looks like a pretty standard team. I mean, it's like just a bunch of like really common Pokemon. Sun is looking pretty good here. Terrapagos is really good. The Fluttermane is something I'm going to have to respect on their team, but otherwise, I don't think it's too bad. I do wonder if I should bring the Tornadus because the Bleak Wind's really powerful against their team. They do have 3 Flying Weeks, but Sticky Web being permanent is actually pretty nice. I think Walking Wake is not a bad lead, but I'm not like Walking Wake's pretty strong. The thing is, I just gotta watch out for their Fluttermane. Their Fluttermane's the scariest Pokemon I think for my team to handle. I actually think if that's the case, I should probably just lead Leavanny plus Koraidon, and that'll give me like a string shot option. I think in the back, I bring the Fluttermane and the Walking Wake. The only problem with this team is Terrapagos Terrapagos is kind of weird because if I play my Terra hand too early, I get knocked out, and that's not exactly super ideal for Koraidon. And the thing is, their Fluttermane is able to pressure the Terra on Koraidon, which is kind of the thing about Koraidon. It really does appreciate the Terra more. So we'll see, because I got to be careful about that position. We're going to see a Amoonguss plus Incineroar, which is not a lead I would have expected against Leavanny and the Koraidon. All right. I think Wake would have been a better lead, but I don't think this is... It's not ideal, but it's not awful. I really don't think you're doubling up the Leavanny in this position, unless you want to read Koraidon Protect. If I had Protect, I don't have Protect. I think if anything, I would like Koraidon Awake. So I think I'm going to go for a lunge into Incineroar immediately. And I'm going to go out into the Walking Wake. I think it's fine to have Wake take some sleep turns. Koraidon's so valuable in this matchup where I can't really afford it to be put to sleep here. I can set up a Sticky Web later in the game and get a bit of chip onto the Incineroar, which could actually matter for like a future attack. Since this isn't a clear amulet on the Koraidon, it could actually matter in like a future case. So we'll retreat our Koraidon. We'll bring out the Walking Wake. Yeah, Mungus is just going to be annoying. I don't have the best ways of getting rid of Mungus early. They do go for the fake out. They do target down the Koraidon, which is not too surprising. A lunge is going to be fired off into the Incineroar. It should be Spore into the Wake. There's no way it's not anything else. Yeah. All right. So Wake gets to burn a turn here, and I get to set up Sticky Web, which is going to be for the remainder of the game, which is actually kind of nice. So I am going to set up the Sticky Web, and I am going to go for the Hydro Steam and try to burn a turn. This is probably like Pollen Puff, Parting Shot into Leavanny. I would try to get Flutter Mane in if I was them. I'd Parting Shot the Wake and just go for a Pollen Puff into the Leavanny. They could double up my Leavanny, but that gives me a free switch, and I'll gladly take a free switch if they want to do that. Say it's sleep guaranteed for the first turn. Yep, they do go for the Parting Shot. That makes sense. There should be Flutter Mane coming in. It is going to take a speed drop, which is going to be nice for the remainder of the game. It's just dealing with the Flutter Mane because the team doesn't have any resistance to Flutter Mane other than Torkoal, and I thought Torkoal was not good in this matchup. Galapagos comes in, which is surprising to me. All right. Huh. All right. They go for a Spore and a Leavanny? Okay, they expected to switch from Leavanny, or just trying to cover for it, I suppose. All right, I mean, I got free Sticky Web up. Even if I lunge you to break the shell, it wouldn't be a surprise to me if this is a Leftovers variant or if they just spam Pollen Puff. I think in this case, I would really want to try to get Flutter Mane in and go for a Snarl here. They're probably going to Spore the Wake slot now, or spam Spore into that slot, because I don't think they see a threat in Leavanny. It's not exactly known for its best attack stats. So we'll bring out Flutter Mane to put on some more offensive pressure against this, and Snarl to try and reduce the damage output. We do stay asleep, which is not too surprising. All mine? Yep. I could have went out into Koraidon, but then Incineroar comes in, and then it gets a little bit awkward. Let's see. I hope that they spored into the... Yep, they did Spore in the Wake. Perfect. Okay, I actually really wanted them to Spore in the Wake there, because now I get a free Shadow Ball into Mungus. The thing is, like, if I woke up and got the Snarl and then got put to sleep again, I think that was even worse for me. Do I want to go for Draco Meteor or do I want to go for Snarl? I could get the KO on a Mungus if I need to. I think I would rather reduce the damage output of this Galapagos and risk taking a turn of sleep. If whatever happens, happens. We're going to see the Terek, so Sun going to be gone, which means my photosynthesis on both Pokemon are going to be eliminated. All right. This is looking pretty dangerous, especially if we don't wake up. That's kind of thing about this. Mungus is not pretty here. Maybe I need a Torn for the taunt. Yeah, Shadow Ball off. That's actually really strong damage. I would have KO'd in Sun. Unfortunately, we stay at sleep 3 turns, which I think is a calm mind, actually, huh? They calm mind, they gave me a shot. They didn't take a KO, but then again, I guess still it's going to be +1 even if I get a Snarl off. I don't have Sleep Talk on the Flutter Mane. Just going to try to buy a turn and go for a Snarl, because I do really gotta reduce. At least they have been forced to go for the Terra, which means that my Incineroar can come in or not Incineroar, my Koraidon can come in eventually and go for some big damage. They're gonna retreat to Mungus, which is not too surprising. Probably like Incineroar or their own Flutter Mane, which I'll take. They're gonna get Sticky Webbed, and then the Snarl is gonna come out and lower that special attack. Gonna be a booster energy. All right, speed. Oh, a special attack, which is a curious decision. Guaranteed to take the first turn of sleep with Flutter Mane. We are able to get the wake up with Walking Away guaranteed here, and Snarl does connect with both, which is good. All right, perfect. So we do lower the special attack on both, which is great. Ooh, sub. So this is solo Terra Starstorm, which this actually works out well for me because I get to put Terapagos at -2. Yeah, I get to Shadow Ball and I get to click Snarl. If Flutter Mane wakes up, we're in a great position. If not, it's not amazing, but still playable, I suppose. Come on, we got 3 turns on the Walking Away. Give me the first turn wake on Flutter Mane. Because I get to Snarl the Terapagos down to neutral, so it's back at neutral, so it's not picking up knockouts. The only thing that I actually have to worry about damage-wise is Flutter Mane. Unfortunately, we're not getting the best luck with Amoonguss. Snarl. Wonder if we can do something with our Moonblast. They actually target down the Wake, and they don't pick up a knockout. They're going to go for the Terra Starstorm, but it's not picking up a KO here. All right. Yeah, because it's not boosted, you can see how much damage that it does, and it's actually not that much to Flutter Mane. I think I do have to bank on a Wake Up. It was kind of unfortunate with all the sleep turns it has put us on the downside here. It's always worth it for me to go out into Koraidon here and Shadow Ball to Flutter Mane because the only switch they have is Incineroar. Do I want a Collision Course double up the Flutter Mane slot? Probably. I'm gonna Shadow Ball to Flutter Mane. It KOs every single mod, even the Amoonguss, and I just Collision Course to Flutter Mane. I just want to double check my speed interactions are correct, which it should be. Yes. So we're gonna Collision Course the Flutter Mane in case they try to go Incineroar and protect the Terapagos. Yep, Incineroar comes in. And I don't really see the point. Would you still switch to Incineroar if you're attacking with the Terapagos? Maybe. That's probably okay. Yep, they did protect. Nice, nice. All right, so we're getting them. We're getting them here. Amazing. And what's nice is we... Oh, wait, hold on. No, we're still fine. They're guaranteed to have the speed booster. We stay asleep, which is... is this unfortunate? Does this still KO Incineroar? That extra chip damage from Leavanny might matter here. All right, we get the KO on Incineroar. Beautiful. Nice. That's one passive turn that they don't have. Like, the thing is, everything on their left slot is now vulnerable to just Shadow Ball. Assuming I wake up. That's the problem. I have to wake up. I have to wake up with Flutter. I have to wake up with Flutter Mane. So Flutter Mane goes down on their side. I would say go into Amoonguss if I was them. Yep, Amoonguss is going to come out. And they either double out the Amoonguss to get back Regenerate once again, or they go for a Protect here, which is also... It's not great, but it's acceptable. So we're going to Collision Course the Terapagos and go for a Shadow Ball into the Amoonguss. Please wake up, Flutter Mane. Please. We're in a good... We're actually in a winnable spot. It wasn't looking good at the start, but it's winnable now. That's the important part. They do protect. Okay. Okay, nice, nice. I guess it wasn't important that this turn it woke up. The next turn would have been more crucial, but yeah, that works out. So we do get a Collision Course off into the Terapagos, which is huge. Trying to figure out how do I want to reset. Do I want to reset the Intimidate, or do I just want to go straight for the Collision Course? Because it might actually be my best interest to go for the Collision Course anyway. I go for Calm Mind here, which I think this is a mistake, assuming that this does... I guess it depends on if this KOs Flutter Mane the upcoming turn. Because the point is, I think you want to remove the Flutter Mane this turn, which is very crucial. How many turns of Sun do I have left? 3. I always Shadow Ball the Amoonguss. This should be probably Flutter Mane being sacked here. I'm going to Collision Course the Terapagos. Yeah, because even if I U-turn out to reset the Intimidate, it's not that big of a deal. I think Amoonguss should always switch here. I think they should always switch Amoonguss out in Flare because the fact that they actually have a target next to the Terapagos that would survive, or that could draw away attacks from Koraidon, potentially would be very valuable. Yep, they do switch out the Amoonguss. This is going to be out into Flare so Flare gains sacked here. I don't think this is picking up the knockout into Terapagos, but if it does, amazing. If not, depends on if we live the Star Storm. It could depend on other factors too, like how low will this Terapagos be. So we are able to get a Shadow Ball off into the Flutter Mane, pick up the knockout. Beautiful. Like, how much damage should we do with Collision Course? This is going to be such a big factor here. Collision Course. Come on, boosted, super effective. I don't know if that's going to be enough. Terra Starstorm coming out. Flutter Mane? It crit my Flutter Mane. The thing is, it didn't do that much damage to Koraidon. It actually really did not do much damage to Koraidon now that I think about it. I just don't know if I win off that. Amoonguss is going to come back in. Can Leavanny pick up the knock on Terapagos? I think is going to be like a really big question here. Lunge, I think, should knock out Terapagos at this point. I don't know if they protect or not. I guess I should always go for the Terra Fire anyway in Flare Blitz because the Leavanny's Terra is grass. I know this is going to put us into super effective range from Starstorm, but I'm worried about Terapagos protecting. Amoonguss lives a Flare Blitz in Sun and then fires back in response because we are intimidated. I think my best play is to lunge and go for the Terra Fire Flare Blitz. Because Leavanny is going to survive a hit from Terapagos thanks to Focus Sash. So we're not worried about that. I'm pretty sure Terapagos will go down to lunge at least at this range. I think it has to protect to get leftovers. Yep. Does Amoonguss double protect as well? I'm not surprised if it does. No, they did go for it. Yeah, okay. So I thought my opponent's win con was hoping that Amoonguss could survive a Flare Blitz because we're intimidated, even if it's in the Sun. And I could believe Amoonguss does that. I don't think it would live Terra Fire Flare Blitz. Yes. And now that secures the game 100% guaranteed. Even if we go down to recall, the lunge should pick up the knockout into Terapagos with 2 of them. And we should be fast in Terapagos guaranteed because of this sticky web. Oh, a long drawn out one. We finally, even after the sleep turns and stuff, but we were able to finally find a nice position against Terapagos. We go for the collision course into Terapagos. We go for the lunge. What's your win out? I don't think you have a win out. I guess it'd be go for the double protect. So Sun fades, but even then you still lose because I outspeed and KO because I have faster Pokemon and you are sticky webbed. So even if the Terapagos was, I don't think it would even outspeed this Koraidon, even if it was Tim and Max, but yeah. Oh man. I think it was because my opponent did get the luck they needed early on in the game with the sleep turns, but the thing is, the thing about the Calm Mind sub is that they actually went for sub. I was actually able to get a Snarl to lower the Terapagos damage output, and we saw those Snarls add up, and you saw how like little damage they did. They did crit the Flutter Mane, which I can't tell if it mattered. Like, it would have been really close there, but saving Koraidon for the end game was really nice. Lunala, Incineroar, Rillaboom, King Gambit, Grimmsnarl, and Urshifu. I would assume it's going to be Water Urshifu and not Triple Dark on this team, but we'll see. King Gambit is scary because Snarl is not exactly super ideal with it's not exactly super ideal to have Snarl Walking Awake here to counter Lunala if I'm just gonna get destroyed. I mean destroyed by King Gambit. I don't know if this is a Trick Room team or not. I really can't tell. I could see this being like a Calm Mind setup team with Lunala instead. If that's the case, I would change how I approach it. I also can't really afford to set up Sticky Web, I think, in this game, because if I Sticky Web and the Kingambit gets it, yeah, that's kind of the downside here to using Sticky Web. I don't know if they're going to bring Kingambit though, just because of the Koraidon, but we'll see. I do want to bring Walking Awake as the lead. It's really good against their team overall. I think actually Walking Awake Koraidon's a pretty fair lead. Leavanny could take a hit, which I think actually is important. Torn might be better than Leavanny, but does get into awkward spots because I don't have a switch into Meteor Beam. And I'd rather not switch into Flare Mane, take a huge amount of damage from Meteor Beam. Yeah, this is going to be a tricky spot. This matchup is not easy. Because we can't set up our Sticky Web. We do have String Shot for some speed control, but it really shouldn't matter. The team's really slow on their part. Mercy Lunala Grimmsnarl, which is not too surprising. Against Walking Awake and Koraidon. Okay, Spirit Break is a threatening move here. I'm gonna just fire off a Snarl immediately, and I don't think they're gonna Moongeist Beam straight away. I could see this being a Moonblast. Lunala, this is Calm Mind too. That's the problem. I don't know if this is Thunderwave Grim. It could just be screens. I think I'm just going to Snarl and U-turn out the Grimmsnarl. Please don't go into Kingambit turn 1. Although I don't really see a point of you going for that. Yeah, it's going to be a light screen, which is fine. Okay. We are able to get Snarl off. Unless this Lunala is really fast. I mean, max speed vibes fast. I don't think it should be. Like, Koraidon should be safe for this turn. Yep, able to get a U-turn off into Grimmsnarl. Not bad damage. Screens are going to come out next turn, which is not ideal, but it is what it is. Gonna go out into Flutter Mane. Well, I think we should have one Moongeist Beam if it's -1. We get the Photosynthesis, which is huge. We could force a Terra for Lunala, and that would be big. We go for Calm Mind, which is to be expected. Yeah, all right. All right, they already had their light screen up. I don't know if they want to reflect. Yeah, it is going to be the leftover set, which is not too surprising here. All right, if I was them, I'm going to Kingambit if I have it. I don't know if they brought Kingambit though. Incineroar should be brought. Probably, I would say it might be Rillaboom over Kingambit. But I still think that this is the best play is to go for a Hydro Steam into the Grimmsnarl. And I guess since I do have Leavanny here, I'm going to go to Leavanny. I'm going Leavanny just to absorb the Moongeist Beam because the Flutter Mane threatens the Terra from Lunala or Protect here. Be Protect. Yeah, that's fine. So I still get the best world here, which is a Hydro Steam. They go for Thunder Wave. Okay, so that's also nice because I don't get my Flutter Mane parried, which is actually kind of huge. I'll take it. So Hydro Steam off into the Grimmsnarl. Do I want to get paralyzed with my Walking Wake? I think if I want to make sure the Lunala is tamed, then I do. I don't think they're going to go into Kingambit. If they go into Kingambit, they got me here. But I think they're just going to Thunder Wave the slot. Oh, they Reflect instead. Maybe expecting Protect here. That's actually really good for me, assuming I KO the Grim. Because I lowered the damage output from the Lunala. Nice. Playing aggressive here did end up working out really well for me. Assuming that I don't get paralyzed here. Nice. It should KO. Beautiful. I don't think the critical hit mattered, maybe. But Grimmsnarl is gone, which is nice. Moonblast. Okay, yeah. So they did have a tech for my Koraidon. I'm not surprised. We don't have to worry about special attack drop thanks to Covert Cloak. Now we're in an okay spot. Although their Kingambit's going to be a bit scary, we do have our other options. I think Incineroar should be in the back. Or Shifu going to come out. All right. I am okay with setting up a Draco Meteor KO into her Shifu if I can. So I'm actually going to go for a double up into her Shifu. Actually, no, I'm going to lunge to Lunala because even if it's Focus Sash or Shifu, I don't want them to be baiting me to go King Gambit to absorb a Draco Meteor lunge. That did nothing. Is that Solvest? Get paralyzed. That's not that big of a deal. Close combat. All right. I'll take it. It's not ideal, but I'll take it. Maybe I should have snarled here instead, but again, I don't think I can risk the King Gambit. Moonblast. Or is that Moongeist Beam? It's Moongeist Beam, okay. I don't know why. It's the first part just looked like Moonblast, but obviously Moongeist. Lunala's still gonna be a bit of a problem in-game wise. They're at -2. So I can go Flutter Mane or I could go Koraidon. I'm going Flutter Mane because I want to bait the Terra. I think the Urshifu might... Is it a Solvest or is it just bulky? 'Cause that's what I can't tell. I'm going to go for a Moonblast into the Urshifu slot. Last turn of Sun, so yeah, I didn't want to go Koraidon here. I'm going to go for a lunge into the Lunala because I want to keep Shadow Shield gone. So I guess the paralysis might matter. Especially if we're going to retreat, this could be Incineroar. Yeah, all right, that kind of come first by suspicion. Okay. I really hope to get my attacks off here. Moonblast. No Terra. They're playing bold here. Jeez. Citrus Berry Incineroar is not helping me here, alright? They call minded. This is actually kind of awkward. Okay, I do get the lunge off, so won't get Shadow Shield for this turn. Guys. I guess with Calm Mind. I guess with the Calm Mind boost, it kind of makes sense. Prociphysis wears off. They're gonna Moonblast pin. I actually think I might lose off the... No, I could win. In terms of screens, they have a bunch of reflect turns in the light screen. Would they fake out the Flutter Mane? I could see them faking out the Flutter Mane and going for Moonblast. I need the damage on Lunala, so I'm going to protect and go for... Ooh. Interesting. Okay, they protect instead. I thought they were going to try to pin my Koraidon switch. Since I thought it was obvious that I would... Since it was obvious that the Flutter Mane was in a really weird spot here, unable to pick up a knockout, they go for knockoff. Yeah, this is not great. I needed that damage into Lunala. Yeah, I think I lose off this. I think Lunala is just a bit tough here. Bring out the Koraidon. I'll go for a Collision Course with Terra Fire because I am forced to Terra, unfortunately. And we'll lunge the Lunala. I mean, I guess if we crit the Urshifu, as the thing is they have Reflect. They're retreating to Lunala, which I'm very surprised by. Are you tearing the Incineroar? I guess you have no reason to tear the Lunala now. So I guess you could tear the Incineroar. If you tear the Incineroar, good play on my opponents, and they got me there. And I would have had to read that specifically. Maybe they thought I was going to Flare Blitz the Lunala, but they had Reflect up, so I thought they were safe. They do Terra, yeah. Yeah, and the ghost. Good play on their part. I couldn't really punish this, and I kind of forgot that they could Terra now. Get paralyzed, which I don't think it's gonna matter for the outcome. It would have been nice to get the bit of damage into Urshifu. Oh wait, that would have been, yeah, that actually would have been huge. What I needed. I don't think Flare Blitz KOs Incineroar at this range. I can't think of an out here. Let's see how much Surging does, I suppose. I guess how much damage does Surging do? Incineroar retreats out into Lunala. Which makes sense. If I crit Lunala, it's actually like... Okay, the Protect play is interesting. They're letting me build up damage, which I'm kind of surprised by. I get paralyzed again. This one doesn't matter. How much damage am I doing to Lunala? As I got in damage on Lunala, I still do a huge ton of damage to Lunala. They are stalling out the reflect turns, but the thing is, Lunala just took a bunch of damage. How many times are reflector gonna be up? 2 more? 2 more. If I crit collision course on Urshifu, I think I actually see an out, so I will go for it. They could switch out an Incineroar. I would switch out the Lunala back in Incineroar, yeah. So I do need to crit. But if I crit, I think they actually are in like a really awkward spot. So there is an out. There is an out. They have given me a shot here. I do get the extra damage from the lunge. I would need to crit here. I don't think I would win otherwise. That actually did a bit more damage than I thought, even through the Intimidate with the Reflect still up. They're not KOing me, but they do get a fake out next turn into an attack, and then I do lose there. Yeah. They could fake out, or they could go for the knockoff in a Koraidon, which should KO at this range anyway. I guess I just gotta hope for a crit Urshifu and they fake out one. I don't think crit lunges pick up the knockout, but I don't know. We're intimidated to reflect, but no, not enough. Okay, we tried, Leavanny. We tried. Yeah, Lunala a little bit tough here. I was hoping that I could play more aggressive with like forcing a Terra. Like I was like, should be kind of safe, but I guess they were like, okay, after Calm Mind and Light Screen up, then it was like, okay, the Shadow Ball's not KOing. I don't know. It is max special attack Flutter Mane, but maybe it just does not. So yeah, just a tough one. I would have had to play a bit more aggressive and get like the right turns. I think lead wise, it was not great either, I would say. Like it wasn't bad, but yeah, I think I would have liked Flutter Mane as a lead just because I would have been able to pressure more damage into without having to risk like the Moongeist beam immediately. So I think maybe Flutter Mane plus the like a Flutter Mane Walking Wakely would have been better in that matchup because I felt like Koraidon just I got U-turn, but they got to Calm Mind and start setting up the screens. It just ended up not working out well. And if I maybe got the early KO on Grim, for instance, like a turn 1 KO, then I could actually rely on Koraidon to actually clean up because they would have gotten both screens up, I think, if I doubled up the Grim, for instance, turn 1. All right, let's go over to games. In game 1, Specs Terapagos was a threat, but thankfully, the Koraidon was able to pick up the knockout into the chipped Terapagos, even through the Reflect. In game 2, Moongeist was tricky, but with the Snarls negating the Terapagos' Calm Mind boost and the Firepower Koraidon next to the Proto boosted Flutter Mane in Sun, I was able to pin and get a few turns right with the Sticky Web, making their Flutter Mane a lot less useful. In game 3, I think I needed a stronger lead into Lunala as it was very difficult to handle without at least forcing the Terra early. Without knowing the full details of the team, they might not have brought King Gambit because I had many Pokemon that could threaten it, so I could have leaned into it more. Otherwise, I just needed to play better with Fluttermane's targets, such as calling their Shifu switch out and maybe Shadow Balling the Lunala on that one turn. So how good was Leavanny? I feel like Leavanny might have had more utilization if he actually faced opposing Tailwind, as Tailwind has definitely decreased in usage a decent amount in Regulation G, but overall, Sticky Web is actually a pretty cool tech. There are weaknesses though. We did fight one King Gambit. It wasn't brought, but it just made that mindset of going for Sticky Web a bad idea. But I think it had a cool concept. I wish it could do a little bit more damage with the grass move. I still don't understand why it's actually Grass Terror on the team at all. So I think it maybe was just a default, but I think it did have a pretty cool concept. And we did get to use Sticky Web, and it did actually come into play in one of the matches. So overall, pretty unique concept. If you would like to try it out, there is a random code on your screen. Hopefully it's still available by the time this video is out. If you would like to check out the details of the team and the creator, you can check them out down below in the description. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.